Have you ever spent weeks or maybe even months planning something only to realize you haven't actually started? If so, you might be stuck in the planning phase. Hey, it's Corinne, your mental performance coach for everyday life. And welcome back to Everyday MVP. Today, I want to talk about something that keeps so many of us stuck, and that's confusing planning with progress. What have you been wanting to do but keep telling yourself you need to plan it out just a little bit more before you begin? We've all done it. We convince ourselves we're being productive because we're researching, making lists, taking notes, or creating the perfect plan. Those things can be helpful, but then weeks go by and we realize nothing has actually moved forward. We think, wait, I've been working on this. Why haven't I made any progress? That's because we've been in motion, not in action. Our brains actually love planning because planning feels safe. It gives us the feeling of making progress without exposing us to rejection, failure, or discomfort. Action, on the other hand, is vulnerable. That's why it's so tempting to stay in the planning phase. But growth never happens there. Maybe it's fear that's keeping you stuck. Fear of hearing no. Fear of looking foolish. Fear that if you try and it doesn't work out, you'll have proof that you failed. Or maybe you're waiting to feel ready or to know for certain that everything is going to work out before you begin. The problem is, life doesn't offer that kind of certainty. We try to predict the future because certainty feels comfortable. But as Mark Manson puts it, the more you try to be certain about something, the more uncertain and insecure you'll feel. And the more we chase certainty, the less action we take. I've worked with so many people who believe they had to feel ready or certain before taking the first step. But feeling ready isn't a requirement for success. In fact, most people who accomplish meaningful things started before they felt fully ready and before they knew what was going to happen. I worked with an actress who was struggling with writer's block while writing her play. The deeper we dug, the more we realized it wasn't really writer's block, it was fear. She didn't feel ready. She didn't believe she was good enough to write a play. So instead of waiting for that belief to disappear, we focused on taking small, consistent actions anyway. We worked through the emotions that kept showing up while she continued to write. She finished that play. She entered it into a competition and she won. I was so excited for her. Honestly, finishing the play was already a huge win. Then winning the competition was just the cherry on top. Her success didn't come because she suddenly felt ready. It came because she decided to take action despite how she felt. You have to be willing to allow the discomfort of uncertainty and fear. You cannot control every outcome, and you don't need to. What you do need is to take the next step, even when it feels messy or uncertain. Here's the shift. You don't need more planning. You need more reps. And James Clear explains this perfectly. He talks about this exact trap in his book, Atomic Habits. He points out that we get so focused on finding the best approach that we never actually start. As he puts it, the difference comes down to taking action, not being in motion. Motion is the planning, the strategizing, the research, all useful, but none of it produces a result. Action is the thing that actually delivers the outcome. That's the trap. Motion feels productive, so our brain mistakes preparation for progress. If you've been outlining a business idea for 6 months, but never tell anyone about it, that's motion. Making the first sales call, that's action. If you read every parenting book and research the right way to handle a tough conversation with your kid, that's motion. If you actually sit down and have the conversation, that's action. Planning has its place, but planning alone never changes your life. Action does. Remember, confidence isn't what creates action. More often, action creates confidence. So here's your MVP challenge for this week. What's one action you've been putting off because you've been waiting to feel ready or for the perfect time? Not the whole project, just the very next step. Don't overthink it. You probably already know what it is. Send the email, make the phone call, publish the post, apply for the job, sign up for the class. Whatever it is, do the next thing. When you focus only on the next step, it becomes much less overwhelming than trying to figure out the entire journey. Then, once you've taken that step, take the next one. Progress isn't built by having the perfect plan. It's built by taking the next step over and over again. So stop waiting to feel ready. You'll never hit the bullseye if you never take the shot. And remember, Mind Lead team, your most valuable player is you. Every day is a new day. Breathe in, breathe out. You've got this.